Hi everyone. Even though the school year's over, I wanted to make a relatively short video about an abortion topic. This is going to be a completely neutral, non-belief viewpoint concerning the issue of abortion. And I'm making it so that anybody it's likely that people that are watching this are going to be juniors turning 17 this school year and will need to be voting starting next year. So earlier today, the Supreme Court voted to strike down a law in, I believe it was Louisiana, that would have limited the ability for women to be able to get abortions. This is important because abortion is not a topic that's going to be going away. Since the Roe versus Wade decision, it has still been a hot button issue in elections, particularly presidential elections and state elections when it has to do with senators and House of Representatives. So as a student, you need to do your personal research and make a decision about your stance on abortion. Because regardless of where you fall on the spectrum of choice when it comes to abortion, it is important to be able to really decide what you think is the right thing to do, so that if the issue comes up that you need to make a decision, then that you're not just listening to other people, that you had a plan or a possible plan in your mind. Because there are a lot of people that get abortions and go through a post-abortion stress situation that's similar to PTSD or similar to or postpartum or something like that. And although I don't know a lot about what happens emotionally after an abortion is performed, it's something that shouldn't just be taken lightly. So you need to make your decision based on education and research. So there are generally 4 stances when it comes to abortion. You all know pro-life and pro-choice, but there's like a middle ground too. And I don't say a middle ground like you should make a middle ground, but it's not as easy as you think. So pro-life is basically you shouldn't get an abortion for any reason. Pro-choice is basically you should be allowed to get an abortion if you want to. It should always be a woman's right to choose. But there are also 2 other very, very common typical stances. There are some people that would be considered to be pro-choice that say things like, I myself wouldn't get an abortion, but I believe it's the woman's right to choose whether she should get an abortion or not. And then the other standpoint is, I basically don't believe in abortion, but in cases that it's considered medically necessary by a health professional, or in cases of rape or incest, then I believe that it would be okay to get an abortion. So you need to, there are other common stances as well, but those are the 4 main areas to be able to think about. So where you fall on that spectrum is an important decision for you to have to make as you continue to grow up, because not only would you possibly have to make a personal decision, but you also may have to vote from time to time in the state that you live. It's likely that if you're watching this, you live in Pennsylvania, about viewpoints on state laws, or you might be given surveys by House of Representative members or senators or local area politicians, or whatever the case may be. Or you may have to decide whether a candidate that you're voting for in a major election falls on your side when it comes to this particular decision, and weigh it overall concerning the other areas that they have. 2 caveats to this. In Pennsylvania, a male or the father or the potential father doesn't have a say on whether their girlfriend or their wife or their partner gets an abortion or not. It is up to the woman to be able to make that decision. And so that being said, it is less important for a male to have in mind what they want to have happen. And I would suggest that communication in a relationship be there, but there's not really a legal place for what you can do or not do if you get pregnant, or if you make somebody pregnant and then they want to get to an abortion and you don't want them to. And the other thing about this is state laws change all the time. So I'm recording this on June 29th. 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, a year from now, things could change. So look at the current state laws from where you live in terms of what rights are for potential mothers, potential fathers, and how late in a term you can have an abortion or not have an abortion if that is something that you are interested in. But again, not giving you my opinion, not giving you my views or beliefs, but I am saying that you should make a conscious decision ahead of time before you get pregnant, either by accident or, well, it would be by accident, but by having sex and then you get pregnant and you didn't want to get pregnant and it was untimely. You should make a decision ahead of time on what you're willing to do and what your personal beliefs are about when this is happening. Because, number two, the second caveat is the reason why abortion is such a controversial issue in this country. The main reason why is they can't really decide when life begins. I mean, depending on where you look, depending on who you speak to, there are some people that believe that life begins at the moment of conception. There are other people that believe that life begins when the blastocyst attaches to the inside of the uterus wall, which is biologically when a pregnancy begins. There are certain people that believe that life begins when the blastocyst turns into an embryo. There are other people that believe that begins when the heart starts beating. There are other people that believe that it does not begin until the baby can breathe on its own outside of the mother's womb. And that was just 5 possibilities. So when does life begin? I'm not going to bother trying to give you an answer, because if we had a universal agreement on when life began, then everybody would either believe in pro-life or pro-choice, because the argument that is given is that you can't end a life, but when is the baby alive? So something to think about, something for you to research, something for you to talk to your mentors and teachers and parents, and in some cases your friends and colleagues. Look at articles, look at different sides, look at different viewpoints, and make a decision. I realize by the time you're in 11th grade, you probably already have a viewpoint on this topic. You probably already have a viewpoint on your personal beliefs based on your experiences, based on your influences. But some of you are like, I'm not really sure. Some of you have heard different things, and that's what you have been grown up with, and it's more important to make your own real choice. All right, just over 8 minutes. Hope it's a little bit helpful to get you thinking, get you brainstorming, and yeah, thank you. Have a great day.